Have you ever caught yourself whispering the same quiet promise? One day when things are calmer. One day when you feel more ready. One day when you finally have enough time, enough money, enough courage. It feels safe to believe in that distant moment. A day in the future where everything will align, where you will finally begin to live as yourself. But until then, you wait. You wait quietly, sometimes without noticing it. Fill the space with smaller tasks. You tell yourself the moment isn't right yet, that there is still preparation to be done. You must earn your way to happiness. Joy is something you deserve only later. This waiting can feel endless. It's like standing at the door of your own home. Keys in hand, but never turning the lock. Looking inside, but never stepping across the threshold, because you believe the house isn't ready yet. Yeah, maybe the walls need painting. Maybe the rooms need more light. Yeah, maybe you need to become someone else entirely, so you wait. You keep postponing the start of your own life. You say, tomorrow I will begin. But tomorrow arrives dressed as today. Today slips quietly into yesterday. Days stack upon days, and the waiting becomes a habit. It doesn't feel like waiting anymore. It feels like life, as if being in limbo is the natural state of things. As if life is always somewhere else, somewhere just beyond your reach. Maybe you wait for the perfect moment, when the stars feel aligned, when fear finally leaves you, when the weight of uncertainty is gone. But perfection is a horizon. The closer you walk toward it, the farther it shifts away. And so you wait. You imagine yourself stronger one day, braver, more healed, more prepared to face what you desire. Courage doesn't grow from waiting. Courage is born from stepping, from moving while you are still trembling, from walking forward even when the ground feels unsteady. What if the illusion of one day is the very thing holding you back? What if the doorway is already open? Life is asking you to step inside now, not later. Not when you are finished fixing yourself. Not when everything feels perfect. But now, in this imperfect, unfinished moment. Because this moment is all you will ever truly have. Waiting makes the present disappear. It convinces you that real life is still ahead. But life has never been waiting. Life is already here. In the inhale you just took, in the weight of your body on the chair, in the small sound of your heartbeat, in the way your thoughts drift and return. This is life. This quiet, ordinary now. It's not the polished future you keep imagining. It's not the version of yourself you think you must become. Just this, the you that exists already. It is easy to forget, easy to believe that beginnings are always far away, that you must wait for permission, that you must first achieve something else. But what if you could begin here? What if nothing more was required of you? What if one day was today, the moment you choose to no longer delay yourself, the moment you step into the life you are already living? No ceremony required, no grand announcement, just a gentle turning of attention. From later to now, from waiting to breathing, from wishing to living, because maybe the greatest illusion is this, that life hasn't started yet. Really, it has been flowing through you all along. You are already in it. You are not waiting at the edge. You're already inside the river. The water has been carrying you the whole time. You just didn't notice the current. You just didn't see the flow, because your eyes were fixed on one day, a day that does not exist, a day that has always been a mirage, while the real life, your life, is quietly happening now. One of the most subtle traps of life is the belief that happiness will finally arrive later. Not today, not tomorrow, but one day. That invisible horizon we keep chasing, but never reach. We say, when I graduate, I'll finally feel free. When I find love, I'll finally feel whole. When I succeed, I'll finally deserve rest. Each promise is pushed into the future like a cloud drifting further away. The danger is that one day keeps expanding, always out of reach. And while we're waiting, life quietly passes by. Have you noticed how easy it is to delay joy? To put conditions on your own peace? As if happiness must be earned through milestones and achievements? We tell ourselves, I can't rest until I fix myself. I can't love until I'm worthy. I can't enjoy until I've proven something. This illusion keeps you living in tomorrow, while your today goes unnoticed. And yet, life only happens in the now. The sunlight on your face, the breath moving softly through your chest, the simple comfort of sitting in your own presence. But the myth of one day blinds us to these small treasures, makes us chase perfection instead of presence. It makes us wait for permission instead of living with acceptance. The truth is, there is no magical day when everything suddenly becomes right. There is only this moment, imperfect and alive. Many people reach their so-called one day only to find emptiness. The graduation, the job, the wedding, the success. Instead of feeling complete, they feel a hollow ache. Because the problem was never the lack of a milestone, it was the habit of deferring life. If you've trained yourself to postpone joy, joy will always slip away, even when everything looks perfect on paper. That's why some people keep striving endlessly, collecting more titles, more accomplishments, more recognition, hoping that the next achievement will finally unlock peace. But peace cannot be unlocked by achievement. It is unlocked by presence. And presence doesn't wait for one day. It exists right here, right now. The endless horizon of one day is a mirage. You chase it, and it moves further away. You run faster, but it always stays out of reach, because one day is not a real place. It is an illusion created by fear and longing. Fear tells you, you are not ready yet. Longing tells you, something is missing. Together they whisper, one day, but not today. And so you wait. Wait to love. Wait to rest. Wait to be yourself. This waiting becomes a pattern so subtle you don't even notice it. You fill your days with tasks, obligations, expectations, yet in the quiet moments, you feel the ache of postponement. The feeling that life is still ahead of you, just out of reach. What if I told you this ache is not a flaw? It is a message. A reminder that you are meant to live now, not later. The beauty you seek isn't waiting at the finish line. It is woven into the path beneath your feet. Every breath you take is a fragment of someday. Every sunrise is a beginning that doesn't need permission. The laughter of a friend, the taste of tea, the softness of nightfall. These are not stepping stones to the future. They are life itself. When you realize this, one day begins to dissolve. The illusion loses its power. Because you stop waiting for life to start, you begin to notice life is already happening. In this breath, in this heartbeat, in this ordinary sacred moment. The illusion of one day is strong because it feels safe. It lets you avoid the risk of living fully now. Safety can become a cage, a soft prison, where you postpone your own aliveness. The truth is, living now is always uncertain. It asks you to feel your feelings fully, to embrace both joy and sorrow as part of the same tapestry, to let yourself be alive without guarantees. That is why it feels easier to wait for one day. But easier is not the same as truer, and certainly not the same as fuller. The life you imagine waiting for you in the future is already present in fragments now. It's just scattered in places you overlook, in the morning light on your face, in the quiet courage of getting through another day, the love you give without even noticing, in the softness of your own breath, reminding you you're still here. These are not small things. They're the essence of living. When you learn to see them, one day stops being a promise, becomes a choice you can make in this moment. You don't have to chase the horizon anymore. You can plant your feet here and call it enough. You can breathe into the present and let it be your home. Because life isn't waiting ahead of you. It's quietly happening right now. Maybe the hardest truth is this. Life is not waiting for you to arrive. It is happening right now, in this very breath, in this very heartbeat. And yet, how easily we miss it while waiting for something grander. We overlook the warmth of sunlight on our skin, believing the real moments are still ahead. We ignore the quiet laughter of a friend, thinking joy must come later, when things are better. But these little things are not small. They are the pulse of life itself, disguised in simplicity. Waiting for one day is like turning away from a feast because you're saving your hunger for tomorrow. But tomorrow may never bring the meal you imagine. Today is the plate in front of you. You are not incomplete right now. You are not a before picture waiting for an after. You are already someone who breathes, feels, and loves. The illusion of one day tricks you into believing wholeness is elsewhere. But everything you long for, love, belonging, meaning, can only be touched here, in this moment. The only place you can live is today. The only time you can feel joy is now. The only moment you can soften into is the one already happening. We have been taught to believe that satisfaction is always out of reach, that the next milestone, the next achievement, will deliver us to happiness. But this constant reaching leaves us restless, always chasing a horizon that keeps moving farther away. What if the horizon was never meant to be caught? What if life is not about finally arriving, but about walking, noticing, and breathing along the way? Sometimes we wait because we are afraid to trust the present. We tell ourselves we are not ready. But readiness is not a moment that falls from the sky. Readiness is something that grows when you take the first small step. You don't need to be fully healed to enjoy a sunset. You don't need to have everything figured out to laugh with a friend. You don't need permission to begin living now. Life doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for presence. To be awake enough to notice the way your tea steams in the morning light. To be gentle enough to hear your own sigh as you lie down at night. To be kind enough to yourself to taste joy even in imperfection. This is living. Not a future achievement, but a present choice. The illusion of one day thrives on comparison. You see others celebrating milestones and you think you are behind. You see polished stories of success, and you wonder if your quiet life is enough. But enough is not a finish line. Enough is already here in the way you smile at someone, in the way you care. Enough is in the simple fact that you are alive, breathing human. Today is not a waiting room, is not a hallway leading to somewhere more important. Today is the home you have been looking for, and home was never meant to be postponed. The gift of the present moment is that it doesn't demand perfection. It only asks you to notice, to breathe, to pause, and to remember that this moment counts, even if it looks ordinary. Imagine if you could hold your life now with the same reverence you hold your dreams. Imagine if you could see beauty in what already is, not just in what could be. Wouldn't you feel less like you are chasing and more like you are already home? It's waiting for one day as a way of postponing tenderness. And tenderness is always available in the present. In the softness of your breath, in the kindness of your own heart when you allow yourself to rest, in the small, quiet joys that are not waiting but alive, every moment whispers, you are already here. Every day carries the chance to be lived fully, even in its simplicity. You do not need to wait for life to begin, because it is already happening right now. To break free from the illusion of one day, you don't need to overhaul your life. You only need to begin noticing where you've been postponing yourself. Ask gently, what am I waiting for before I allow myself to feel alive? Is it the perfect body, the right relationship, the ideal career? Or is it simply the hope that one morning I'll finally feel ready? Begin here. Take one thing you've been saving for the future and bring it into today. Or the shirt you've been keeping for a special occasion. Use the nice mug instead of the old one. Write the first page of the book you've been dreaming of. Call the friend you've been missing. Living does not begin with massive leaps. It begins with these small acts of choosing today. The cycle of waiting is a habit of thought. It whispers that joy must be earned, that rest must be deserved, that love must be proven. But life was never meant to be a prize for your effort. Life is the field you are already standing in. And the flowers here are already blooming, even if you haven't stopped to look. Try practicing presence in the smallest of ways. Feel the texture of the cup in your hands. Listen to the hum of the world around you. Notice the way your breath rises and falls without asking permission. These are not distractions from life, they are life itself. You might still feel the pull of one day. That's okay. The mind is trained to chase horizons. But each time you notice it, you can gently bring yourself back. Back to this chair, this breath, this moment. Over time, presence becomes less of an effort and more of a natural homecoming. Breaking free doesn't mean giving up your dreams, doesn't mean abandoning hope for tomorrow. It simply means no longer postponing joy until tomorrow arrives. It means allowing yourself to taste happiness now, even while reaching forward. To say, I can hold both, the dream of the future and the beauty of today. You can still grow, still change, still move toward your goals. But you don't need to starve yourself of joy while you walk. You can laugh, you can rest, you can love along the way, and perhaps that is what life was always meant to be. The cycle of waiting breaks the moment you say yes to something small today. The moment you stop waiting for perfect timing and let yourself live in imperfect time, the moment you realize that one day has always been disguised as today. This shift doesn't happen in a single instant. It happens in 1,000 tiny choices. A breath taken slowly, a meal eaten with gratitude, a walk without rushing, a word of kindness spoken before the chance is gone. Freedom from waiting is not dramatic. It's quiet, almost invisible, but it grows. And with each choice to live here, in this breath, in this day, you step further out of the illusion. You stop postponing tenderness. You stop treating your life like a rehearsal. You begin to let the curtain rise and to live the play that is already unfolding. And slowly, beautifully, you realize you are no longer waiting for life. You are in it. You are breathing it. You are finally here. When you stop waiting, the world feels different. Colors grow warmer. Silence grows deeper. Ordinary moments begin to shimmer with unexpected beauty. Do you notice that life was never absent? You were only absent from it. Love to. It becomes easier when you stop waiting. You don't postpone saying I care until the timing feels right. You don't hold back affection for a more perfect version of yourself. You begin to give love now, as you are imperfect and open. And love given in the present is always the most real. Rest also changes. You no longer wait until you've earned it. You no longer punish yourself with exhaustion before allowing softness. You let yourself pause, breathe, and recover in the middle of the journey. Because you finally see that rest is not a prize, it is a need. Choosing today reshapes how you see your body. No longer waiting until it fits some future image. No longer hating it for not being ready yet. Instead, you begin to thank it for carrying you here. You let it be enough for this moment. The same is true for your heart. You don't need to wait until it's fully healed to feel joy again. You don't need to postpone laughter until you're fixed. You can hold sorrow and joy together. You can laugh with tears still in your eyes. Life, after all, was never meant to be neat and finished. It was always messy, layered, and unfolding. To live today is to embrace the rawness of it. To allow cracks and beauty to exist side by side, to let imperfection breathe. This shift is quiet but profound. It loosens the tight grip of striving. It softens the sharp edges of waiting. It lets you feel safe enough to live in the now. Safe enough to trust that today is enough. Think of a child playing. They do not wait for the perfect moment to laugh. They do not postpone their joy until they deserve it. They live fully in each moment, chasing wonder wherever it goes. That childlike aliveness still lives in you. To choose today is to listen to that voice again, to hear the call of wonder, to let yourself feel awe at simple things. The way sunlight falls on the floor, the way water tastes when you were thirsty. To live now is to reclaim what you thought you lost, your sense of belonging, your right to joy, your ability to be at home in the moment. These are not waiting for you somewhere far away. When you stop waiting, you also soften your grip on control. You don't need the future to unfold exactly as planned. You don't need to perfect every step. You trust that living today is enough preparation for tomorrow. You trust that joy now will carry you into joy later. Choosing today changes the way you measure success. It's no longer only about achievement. It's about presence. About whether you allowed yourself to truly feel alive in the day you were given. About whether you loved, rested, and noticed beauty. In this light, even ordinary days become extraordinary. Washing dishes becomes a meditation. Walking down the street becomes an act of wonder. Sitting quietly becomes a celebration, because you are not waiting for the moment. You are in it. Relationships deepen too. People feel the difference when you are fully here. Conversations become more honest. Laughter becomes fuller. Time with others becomes a gift, not a placeholder.
No.
And even solitude feels softer. No longer a waiting room for better company. No longer a punishment. Solitude becomes a place where you can meet yourself. A space where presence itself feels like companionship. Living today is not always easy. The mind will still whisper later. Fear will still suggest you're not ready. Perfectionism will still pull you toward tomorrow. But you can gently return, again and again. Each return is an act of courage. Each moment of presence is a small rebellion against the illusion of one day, against the habit of postponing joy, against the quiet lie that you must wait to be worthy. With practice, living today becomes a rhythm, a song you hum without thinking, a gentle anchor that keeps you close to yourself. You no longer drift endlessly toward a future horizon. You find ground beneath your feet. You realize life has been waiting for you all along, waiting in the smell of morning coffee, waiting in the sound of rain, waiting in the voice of someone who cares for you, waiting in the steady beat of your own heart. And now, you don't miss it. You don't walk past it in search of someday. You let it hold you. And at last, you let yourself live today. One day was never the point. Life was always here. Waiting was only a dream you told yourself, but the morning you wake up to now, it's real. The sunlight that warms your cheek is real. The quiet breath you take in this moment is real. And the small, imperfect life around you, it is real. What if you stopped waiting? What if you began walking, even with trembling steps? What if today, not someday, was the beginning? Imagine how different your life could feel. Not polished, not perfect, but alive. Not distant, not deferred, but unfolding. Imagine the weight you could set down. The burden of always needing more time. The endless story of not yet. You could release it like an old garment that no longer fits, and what would remain is you. It's just you as you are now. Breathing, moving, here. The illusion of one day has stolen so much, but it doesn't have to take more. It doesn't have to rule your life anymore. The power has always been in your hands. The doorway to living has always been open. You have only to step through, not tomorrow, not when things feel easier, not when you've earned it, but now. Because now is all you've ever had. Now is the only moment life allows. Now is the quiet stage where your story unfolds, and it does not need a perfect script. It only needs your presence, your willingness to be here, your courage to open your heart, even when it feels fragile, even when the world tells you to wait, even when fear whispers not yet. Your joy matters today. Your softness matters today. Your beginning can happen today. You are not behind. You are not late. You are simply here. And here is enough. The waiting has ended. The horizon is not far away, it is under your feet. The road is not ahead. It begins where you stand. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel your own breath. Notice the steady rhythm inside you. That is life, not a future life, not a someday life. This life's yours, breathing with you, carrying you gently forward. It is tender to realize this. It's tender to admit you were waiting. It's tender to admit you don't want to wait anymore. But tenderness is not weakness. It is the quiet honesty of being alive. And it is through this tenderness that life opens, not with force, not with perfection, but with softness. With courage disguised as gentleness, the illusion of one day begins to fade. And what remains is the truth of today. The truth of the sunrise. The truth of your breath. The truth of your beating heart. The truth that you do not need to wait anymore. You can begin where you are. You can live where you stand. You can love what is already here. You can forgive the years lost to waiting, for they are not wasted. They have taught you to value this moment. They have brought you to this threshold. And now you can step through. Not as the person who waits, but as the person who begins. The person who allows joy to bloom now. The person who stops postponing love. The person who no longer hides from living. The person who gently whispers, "This is enough." So let this be the end of waiting. Let this be the soft start of living. No more someday. No more when I'm ready. You are ready now. Life is here now. And it has always been waiting for you, not in the distance, but right here in the quiet of today. This is quiet philosophy, where thinking isn't loud, and life doesn't need to be either. Subscribe if you haven't already, not for noise, but for something you can actually feel.